Okay, all right, now this is part 2. Second poem, page 112, and the poem is called Patrons of the Land. The Pearl of Africa or Uganda, different names. But Patrons of the Land, I think this zeroes down to who are the people on the land, people. What do they think of themselves of being on the land? The previous poem cut towards the end, but I just left it like that. I couldn't redo it or do another take of it, But you get the gist. I'm giving you guys, my voice. Those who know me, you know me. Kegus, that's the guy. But I'm Patrick, very much so. And when it comes to things like this, I'm a very avid reader. Victor kind of shares the same passion, or we share the same passion. We are nerds in books. We just can read anything, debate, or contest anything as a thing to think about. So the poem I'm going to read is titled Patrons of the Land. Wait, it's not what you think it is. Lakes everywhere. The Great Lakes region, they call it. A nation formed around lakes. Lakes form the nation's boundaries or borders. Lake Victoria, the eastern and southern border with Kenya and Tanzania. Lake Albert, the western border of Congo. Lake Kyoga, straddling the central and northern region. That's geography. If you remember your geography quite well, you'd be familiar with this. But I didn't picture it like, in this kind of format. Mountains everywhere. The Great Rift Valley, they call it, formed by tectonic plate movement within the Earth's crust. Mountain Rwenzori, the western border with Congo. Mount Elgon, the eastern border with Kenya. Muhavura Ranges, the southwestern border with Rwanda and Congo. Mount Moroto, the northeastern border with Kenya and Sudan. You have to figure this out. Every corner of the country, there is a landmark, there is a future. So from the lakes to the mountains. Lakes and mountains, that's the next stanza. Places of sanctuary, adventure, and hostility. When the then rebel chief sought to flee the country, he crossed over to Kenya through Lake Victoria. When rebels seek to destabilize the country, they cross over from Congo through Lake Albert. When Speke, the explorer, sought the source of the Nile, he trekked it down to Lake Victoria. When tribes fled hostile war neighbors, they settled along the lake shores. Next, lakes and mountains, tourist attractions and spiritual guardians. Long before the advent of new religions, natives revered the lakes. Mukasa, the lake guardian with a shrine on Lake Victoria. Nature-seeking tourists throng lakes and mountains. trekking gorillas, chimpanzees, and ascending the mountain tops. If I've been to Western Uganda, Mountain Rwenzori, right up to, I didn't climb it. Back then it wasn't like how it is now, but I was in Kasese many years ago. It's a beautiful place, I think, even now. Lakes and mountains with wide flowing rivers, patrons of the land for which we come as pilgrims to pay homage during our lifetimes. This paints a picture about Uganda, how beautiful it is geographically. Personally, I've traveled extensively around Uganda, Masaka, Mbarara, right up to the border with Kasese. Come eastern, Jinja, right up to Busia, Busia, Palisa, Mbale, Malaba. And then the other part I didn't have a chance to go further than that. Back then, they used to call it into Nguru. Pretty much, I think because of the war, what was happening. But now I think everybody that is traveling around Uganda, holiday purposes and all that, they get to see the country. Here roads have been built and it's very much accessible to travel. Left, right, center. I've done a read of the second poem in the book, Ugandan Tales. I'm going to do you a honorable gesture and we get a poem from there. The last one. But I'll cut the video now and then so that it splits the videos. Video 1, video 2, video 3, and then some people were sharing the videos. I remember I told you about it. Oh, you make it appealing for somebody to read. No, don't make conclusions, Just read, and what I want you is to buy the book, put it on your shelf or your bedside. It's a bedside read, actually, if you are the kind of person I'm thinking you are, because it is safe to read this in bed than reading a love novel or being on your phone, on Facebook, on WhatsApp. Just have this book beside you and maybe you can start talking about something as a couple. Oh, tell me about this, tell me about that. Even if you have kids in the house, they can come and you read for them. Now, like a poem like this one, or they can read for you and then they challenge you. Then you answer their questions. Oh, there's this lake, there's this, that. So, at the moment, you to be money, love, you always talk about love. Yeah, love. Friends, I have this book I'm reading. Nemusomayo poem kam nemuka discuss ibira nemukubira ko olwali. Muli mune ebirala byesijja basomera bye mulina okwesomera mwekka. Mukitegeera gena nti kale kiki kyogamba nkyogere. The deepest love is what I'm writing about. It's a story about Kegus and a beautiful person, and it's a recollection of redacted chapters. The Sibawamu stories in that, but I don't give you now the stories as gulas gonna be published, so I can't really go into them a lot. Wimba wako published like this, maybe muna abisoma babiwandisa bati oba no bikolamu mobi. All right, love you guys. Yes, that's me. Nachiwalata mukimanyi ekyo, mumanyi nti nachiwalata kankomaawo ebisi byammwe.